The Young and the Uneasy, the 2-week spoilers for September 20 to October 3, 2025, are revealed. While Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, returns to Genoa City, Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, is severing relationships. Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, is informed by Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, about his encounter with Maria Copeland, Cameron Grimes, on Monday, September 22. While she is in Boston, Maria asked Daniel to watch Tessa Porter and Aria Porter Copeland. It sounded like Maria might not return, Daniel said. Then, Tessa informs Daniel that Maria admitted to attempting to murder an elderly man. Daniel is curious as to whether it was self-defense. Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott is shouting at Kane about how he was cut even though Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules Leblanc, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, are still on the team. Billy storms away after Kane tells him he's too emotional after Phyllis hurls some accusations at him. Michael attempts to persuade Billy to put an end to his outburst and concentrate on Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and the positive aspects of his life at Kane's command. Naturally, Billy refuses to be persuaded and claims that Kane will discover what is going on as he has turned Billy into an adversary. When Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, arrives, Michael and Tracy talk about Billy's decline and Kane's comeback. Tessa informs Daniel that she believes Maria was agitated by Ian Ward's Ray Wise homecoming. Tessa thought Maria's account of what transpired with the elderly man was an attack rather than self-defense. Maria's lover, Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, promises Daniel she will find answers because she wants to know the truth. Daniel will accompany her since he offers to assist. Kane is informed by Phyllis that getting rid of Billy was a wise decision. When Kane invites her to supper, she becomes thrilled. He did inquire if she and Michael reconciled. They appear flirtatious, although Phyllis appears to be swooning a little, while Kane may simply be being Kane. They encounter Michael and Tracy when they go to society. Kane follows Michael out to inquire about his handling of the Billy issue. When Tracy finds out that Kane is Dumas, she is stunned. Before he departed 6 years ago, they were close and flirted a little. Tracy is informed by Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, that Kane has undergone significant alteration. Additionally, he informs Tracy that Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott is back to taking chances and intends to work with Kane. Billy is out of control, according to Jack, and he is abandoning everyone. The entire Martin Laurent, Christopher Cousins event is later recounted by Tracy and Phyllis, who discuss how it still gives them nightmares. Phyllis and Tracy are becoming closer. They also talk about Tracy's book about it. They are joined by Kane, who chats with Tracy. Kane and Tracy used to be attracted to each other, which is why Phyllis dislikes this. Phyllis appears to want Kane to herself. Declaring his desire to strike a deal, Billy rushes to see Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, at the Abbott home. Billy begs Jack for assistance in defeating Kane, claiming that if he is not stopped due to his AI software, he will take over all businesses and people. Sally informs Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, that Abbott.com has gone awry on Tuesday, September 23. Before it had even gotten off the ground, Billy blew everything up. Sally and Audra Charles are considering their options. They need employment and a purpose. Haley Aaron's character Claire Grace Newman receives an intriguing invitation. Claire is asked to accompany Holden Novak, played by Nathan Owens, to Los Angeles. For Kane, he must sell some property there. After that, he is packing up his belongings and moving to Genoa City. Claire might think about going, but that won't sit well with Michael Mealer's character, Kyle Abbott. On Tuesday, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, gives Kyle some counsel, perhaps advising him to back off and allow Claire some space before she leaves him permanently. On Young and the Restless, Lauren Fenmore, played by Tracy Bregman, is somewhat firm with her husband Michael on Wednesday, September 24. Knowing that Michael is lying and concealing something, Lauren is not a fool. She fears that he has returned to Victor Newman, Eric Braden. Michael is probably working for Kane and spying for Victor rather than actually working for Victor. However, it's uncertain how much he will tell her. It doesn't sound nice. Jack and Diane attempt to control Billy, maybe hoping that he will hold down his plan for Kane retaliation. Looking irritated, Kyle speaks to his father, Jack, about Claire and her possible travel to Los Angeles. On Wednesday, Audra is in Kyle's face, making him angry. Victor approaches Kane on Thursday, September 25th, with an irresistible offer and asks if he's game or not. Victor maintains that the agreement is finished if Kane doesn't accept before he gets off the train, even though Kane says he'll give it some thought. Victor wants Damien to defeat Jabot with his AI. Jack has a secret weapon of some sort up his sleeve. It has been questioned whether Jack is the one who brings Jill back to town to deal with her fake son, Kane, and her real son, Billy, in order to get them to quit causing issues for Jack and everyone else. Jess Walton is back in the role of Jill. Late next week, Sally will have to make a difficult decision, possibly ending her relationship with Billy, because he is pressuring her. Victor contemplates a truce with Jack on Friday, September 26th, while Melody Thomas Scott's character Nikki Newman receives some startling news. It is apparent that she will be shocked if they declare a truce. Or it might be Claire informing her that she and Holden are traveling to Los Angeles. Kane cuts off one of his pals. After eliminating Billy, who will he next eliminate? If Kane discovers that he is spying, maybe Michael. In the week of September 29 October 3, Kane makes a significant choice. He has to deal with Jill coming back to town, Billy seeking retribution, and the Victor deal. Jack and Victor might have a pleasant game, but it won't last long. Sally needs a career and a man she can trust in order to move on with her life. They might be finished because Billy has made mistakes in both areas. If Claire accepts Holden's invitation to travel to Los Angeles, Kyle worries about the worst. In the event that Kyle believes he has lost Claire, Audra may re-engage with him. Lauren is not pleased at all, and Michael must cope with her anger and suspicions. Fans will be riveted to their televisions for the next 2 weeks in Genoa City as there is a storm of tragedy, disclosures, and power struggles. The focus turns to Kane Ashby and Jill Abbott, one of the young and the restless most erratic couples, as corporate conflicts erupt and complicated romances simmer. While Jill thunders back into town with fire in her eyes, prepared to upend the lives of both her foes and her family, Kane faces a heartbreaking split that could alter his entire destiny. Expect heartbreaking conflicts, perilous partnerships, and emotional reckonings that reinterpret ambition and familial commitment between September 22 and October 3. Kane and Claire's alliance ultimately breaks down after weeks of calculated actions and hushed promises. The tension between them erupts when Victor presents them with incriminating information after their fiery risk to outmaneuver Newman Enterprises doesn't work out as expected. Shaken by Victor's rage, Claire starts to wonder if Kane has been taking advantage of her all along. Ever the affable manipulator, Kane maintains that he genuinely thought they had a chance to regain control. But there is no denying the fractures. Claire tells Kane she can no longer be pulled into his madness during a furious altercation at the Grand Phoenix. Claire's voice quivers as she screams out, "Kane, you don't care about me, you care about winning." Kane is left staring at his reflection as Claire storms away at the end of the sequence, recognizing that he has lost not just a co-conspirator, but possibly something more profound. Lily becomes extremely disappointed when she finds out more about Kane's machinations from Devon. She reminds Kane of all the opportunities he's had to change his life in an intense confrontation. "Kane, you had a family. You were respected, loved, and trusted. And each time, you destroyed it." Lily replies, her eyes welling with sorrow. Kane is shocked by this encounter. His charm doesn't work for once. As he spirals, Lily's comments reverberate, making him consider what he is actually fighting for. Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City triumphantly as Kane's life falls apart. After learning of Kane's careless decisions, Jill, who has been running her business from a distance, returns with a vengeance. She enters Chancellor Winter's offices without warning, ferocious as ever, and demands explanations. Her arrival is classic soap opera gold. Although her daring comeback astounds Devon, Nate, and Billy, it's obvious that Jill is returned to regain her authority and organize her family. Jill yells at Billy, "Did you really think you could run this company without me?" It's obvious that her return will cause a stir in Chancellor Winters. But what's her main concern? Cutting Kane off permanently or saving him from himself? When Kane finally meets Jill in person during the second week, the mother-son relationship erupts. Jill lashes out at Kane for using his plots to tarnish the names of the Chancellor and Abbott. Jill isn't buying it when Kane tries to defend himself by saying he was just attempting to restore his reputation. You don't create a legacy by setting everything on fire. Jill rages, you've never learned that you've built it by fighting smarter. In a startling turn of events, Jill issues Kane a warning. Either leave his damaging relationships or face being cut out from her world forever. In addition to upending Kane, this altercation prepares the way for Jill to retake her proper position at Chancellor Winters. Jill concentrates on the business front while family strife simmers. As Jill asserts her power and reminds everyone that Chancellor Winters is her invention, Devon and Billy are taken by surprise. When she reveals plans for a daring new course that ignores Billy's impetuous tactics and compels Devon to re-evaluate his vision, tensions rise. Fireworks are promised as Jill, Devon, and Billy engage in a corporate war. Will Chancellor Winters be able to withstand Jill's strict control, or will her reappearance destroy the business? Victor Newman does things himself while Jill manages the family business, persuaded that Kane's meddling with Claire was an inexcusable affront. Victor sets up a trap to degrade Kane and ruin his character. Victor sets up an ambush in the boardroom, revealing Kane's shady efforts to damage Newman Enterprises. Devastating consequences result. Kane is left alone, his reputation is once more damaged, and there is little prospect that he will ever be saved. The issue then arises, will Jill intervene to save her son, or will she allow him to suffer the repercussions of his behavior? An long-standing feud with Nikki Newman is also rekindled by Jill's homecoming. When the two meet at society, Nikki accuses Jill of encouraging Kane's careless actions, and tensions rise. Never one to back down, Jill responds with her trademark wit. Nikki, at least I take responsibility for my family's errors. You simply ignore yours in favor of Victor. The two great dames of Genoa City are prepared to fight again after this encounter, which sets the stage for a delectable rivalry. As Jill and Nikki circle one another like lions protecting their territory, fans should anticipate more altercations. Kane reaches a breaking point on October 3. He discovers his previous strategies are ineffective when he is by himself, shunned by Claire, reprimanded by Lily, and singled out by Victor. Kane confides in Jill that he feels as though he has lost everything in a sorrowful encounter at Chancellor Park. Despite her harshness, Jill demonstrates some empathy when she tells him that he must make a final decision about whether he wants to be a guy who is respected. The split in question is symbolic, and not simply from Claire. Kane is at a turning point in his life, separating from the person he has been for years. The primary question that will continue into the next plotline is whether he can actually change. Jill Abbott is a force of nature who is more than just a mother and businesswoman. Her comeback gives the program new life and unifies plotlines that sorely lack a strong focal character. Jill is a fan favorite because of her humor, her fire, and her stubbornness to let anyone walk over her. While her conflicts with Nikki and her authority over Chancellor Winters promise weeks of juicy tension, her relationship with Kane offers the ideal combination of drama and rough love. Every character needs to straighten up a bit now that Jill is back in town because the game alters when she's around. There is a shocking conclusion to the two-week storyline. Jill shakes up Chancellor Winters and puts Kane in his place before making a covered phone call from her Grand Phoenix room. Everything is coming together. She murmurs into the phone. Kane isn't even aware that he's involved in the plan. To whom is she speaking? Is Jill planning a more significant action against Jabot, Newman Enterprises, or even her own relatives? Fans are left feeling excited by the cliffhanger, which demonstrates that Jill's return is about more than just saving Kane. It's about changing Genoa City's entire power structure. Kane's breakup and Jill's blazing comeback serve as the focal points of The Young and the Restless's dramatic roller coaster from September 22 to October 3. While Jill regains her position as one of the soap opera's most ferocious queens, Kane's descent leads him to face his darkest tendencies. 2 weeks of must-watch television are created when you combine Nikki's rivalry, Victor's rage, and the ongoing instability at Chancellor Winters. Is Kane really out even though he's down? And now that Jill is back in town, what secret storm is she working on? Nothing remains the same in Genoa City for very long, and the effects of these 2 weeks will be felt for months to come.